Hello, welcome, folks. Welcome for the third time today. Wow, we're on a road today. I'm doing the preview now for the United States versus Mexico. It's a Gold Cup final, and at the beginning we were expecting the Reggae Boys, which I'm a supporter of, to be at these the final stages, but that was not to be the case. So as such, the just thing to do is to do a preview because the teams who got to the final, they deserve to be there, and they put in some tremendous performances throughout the tournament. Now we know the Reggae Boys, they fell out to the United States of America a few days ago. Mexico, they were the other team that did well and continues to do well in the tournament. Now coming to the tournament, Mexico was the favorite. They were expected to go all the way to the final. So seeing them in the final, no, I don't think it's upset. It's an upset or a surprise to anyone who has been paying attention to the Gold Cup thus far. Now, as I said before, we expected Mexico to do well. The United States, they brought a team that is far below their full strength. And I'll go into that further on in the show. As I said, I won't stay too long with you guys today, just about 15 minutes or so to cram everything in there, ensure that all the details are there. And we look forward to the Gold Cup final, which will be aired on the first, which is tomorrow, basically, tomorrow evening. We know the United States, they have a bit of momentum going into this game. Mexico, on the back of that victory over Canada, they too have a bit of momentum. They left it late against Canada, but nonetheless, we know how the Mexicans are. When they come to play football, they come to play football, and whether it is early or late, as long as the job gets done. All right. As I said before, Mexicans are the favorites going into the final. If you're a betting person, the odds are in the odds are there for Mexico to win. The United States, if you bet on the United States, I think it's 255 or something like that. Mexico is 150 something. So no great odds on there because I think the teams have been even for the most part, especially for this year. The United States had beat Mexico a few weeks ago, I think mid-June or early June, in that inaugural Nations League final. That one ended 3-2. Mexican team missing a penalty in the last minute. Well, let me not say miss, but the American goalkeeper, he stopped the penalty from Guardado and then in the last minute of that game in the Nations League final. Now, as I said before, going into this game, the Mexican team, they will go in as favorites. These both teams, they tend to draw massive crowds, especially when they go up against each other. They've seen crowds as big as 100,000, 90,000 fans. And again, it's two CONCACAF teams. It's the biggest rivalry in CONCACAF, and it goes close to some of the biggest rivalries in football. If I'm to be honest with myself, we've seen Argentina, Brazil. We've seen England, Scotland recently in the Euros, and we will get to see United States versus Mexico in just a matter of hours. But who are we looking forward to seeing in this game? Who does Mexico have? Who does the United States have? Again, in the previews that I did prior to now, I alluded to the United States leaving out some of their players, the likes of Sergio Dest, Gio Reyna, who recently got the number 7 jersey that Jadon Sancho vacated at Borussia Dortmund. The likes of Christian Pulisic back in training with Chelsea as well. Weston McKennie back at Juventus. So these are some of the core players that make up the United States roster, and they're playing with their clubs now. But nonetheless, the United States have still put in a good performance, or a number of good performances throughout the Gold Cup so far. They played 5 games. They've had 4 clean sheets, and that one game where they conceded a goal, it ended 6-1. But considering all those variables, they've had 4 1-0 games. All right, so 4 clean sheets, but all those games were 1-0 games. And that one game that they conceded a goal, it ended 6-1. And again, Mexico, on the other hand, theirs have been a little bit different. They've had I think 3-0. They've had a 0-0 game against Trinidad and Tobago. They've had a 2-1 against Canada, as we saw most recently. So again, they can score a goal, but also they are susceptible to that, to conceding. The Mexican team is a little bit one-dimensional in my opinion. The United States team, in contrast, they offer a little bit more versatility, and I think the athleticism of the players in the US team affords them that luxury that they can chop and change at any point in time throughout the game. In the Canadian game I saw with the Mexican team, they were stretched at points during that game, and at one point I wasn't so confident that the Mexican team was going to win that one, but in the end, their talisman, well, the veteran now, I must say, is approaching the back end of his career. Hector Herrera, the Atletico Madrid man, he came up trumps for them as they left it late. The Canadian team, they gave a good showing nonetheless, and the folks in Canada, we were supporting Canada. If I'm to be honest with myself, we were supporting Canada, but again, as soon as Canada got that equalizer, which was a remarkable goal from the youngster Buchanan, I think the tide turned on its head. I think maybe 2 or 3 minutes after Canada got that goal, and the goalkeeper saved the penalty from the Mexican team, everything just changed. The Mexican team, they started applying the pressure to the Canadian team, and when it went over into the last bits, I could only see one winner, and deservedly so. The Mexican team, we know they tend to be uh, sturdy, they're durable, their longevity is always commendable, regardless of the tournament or the competition they're playing in. Welcome, Javar. Welcome. Just doing a quick preview of that Mexico United States game. I know it's not the time for Gold Cup because the Reggae Boys are out of it, but it's a due diligence that some of the fans on here they deserve that much. And since we have been doing the previews for the Reggae Boys games throughout the Gold Cup so far, I saw it fit to do a preview for that game as well. Now, Mexico versus United States, the first time these two played, it was in the 1934 World Cup. That the first competitive meeting was in the 1934 World Cup. The United States, they won that one 4-2, and the last time they played was in June of this year. The United States won that one again 3-2. So interesting stuff. I 3-1 Mexico. That's a tough one. I won't even go as far, but I will say the United States midfielders, they need to keep that level of athleticism going that they showed against the Reggae Boys. No, Mexico, they'll be a different kettle of fish. The Mexicans are definitely quicker. They get around the pitch faster than the Jamaicans did, and they will pose a different threat to the Mexican team. So I anticipate and I expect the United States team to impose themselves on the Mexican team, because we've found so far throughout the tournament that whenever the teams impose themselves on Mexico, they get a little bit rattled, and it can throw them off their balance somewhat. We saw it in the game against Trinidad and Tobago, where that game ended 0-0, and we saw it in the game against Canada as well, where Mexico went on ultimately to win that one 2-1. No, I personally I expect Mexico to go on and to avenge that loss in the Nations League final. I know it's a different crop of players. We don't have Chucky Lozano. We know he's the main man in the Mexican team. He had to leave for injury. He had to leave due to injury. He will be taking no further part in the tournament based on the reports. And Diego Lainez, he wasn't there as well. I know these two individuals, they are game changers for the Mexican national team. And on any given day, they can come up trumps. United States team, I mentioned them before and I'll mention them again. They're the likes of Bucio, who I think will be, again, a key member, a key player in this game. Zardes. He's the one who scored that goal against Qatar in their semi-final victory. I think different players in this US team, they have been stepping up and they've been contributing. As I said, they've had four 1-0 victories so far in the tournament. They've had one 6-1 victory. That's a, welcome, Marlon, welcome. Just doing a quick preview here for the United States Mexico game. As I said, different individuals in the United States team have been stepping up and they've been showing really that it's team over individual any day. And where others have fallen short, the necessary personnel within that team have been stepping up and they've been bailing out the team for the most part. So I hope it doesn't get to that in the game against Mexico. I expect it to be cagey. I don't expect so many goals as we saw in that Nations League final where there was a foray of goals, 3-2, could have been 3-3 easily. Some suspect refereeing decisions. That penalty that they gave to the United States, still to this date, I'm still trying to fathom how that was a penalty. But again, the referee's decision is the final decision, and I have to abide by that. I will have to go by that because at the end of the day, if you didn't watch the game, it won't say suspicious decision by the referee. It will just say the United States 3 and Mexico 2. We expect a stadium packed with fans. We know the Mexican fans, they love their football, and the US fans as well, they love their soccer. They're supporting it 100%. They'll be cheering on their team. Mexico, I think they'll go into this one with their tails up, considering that game they played against Canada. I know United States played against Canada earlier in the tournament, and if any of you guys were here or you've been tuning into the videos that I've been releasing, I said the United States, they basically got lucky in that game against Canada. I think they defend well. I think two of their main defenders going into the final are injured. So I think the back line will be a little bit tricky for the United States of America, but nonetheless, they can get the job done because they play as a team. They've been in unison throughout the entire tournament, and I think these 1-0 victories, we shouldn't get too sidetracked by them because there's a particular team that scored a bunch of 1-0s and ended up lifting the World Cup trophy a few years ago. So it doesn't matter as long as you win. And that's what the United States have been doing throughout the tournament so far. They've been getting the job done. Sometimes it's been ugly. It hasn't been the most pleasing on the eyes. But at the end of the day, the result is the only thing that matters. And the United States of America, men's national team, they've been getting the job done. No, my final bit on this one, going into the game, I think the key members or the key players to look out for the United States, Busio again. I think Daryl Dike, he owes the national team a big game. He's been a bit quiet for the last two games, and I think he needs to come up big in the finals if he is to stake a claim for himself. That number 9 spot for the United States is still a toss up in the air, and the position is there for him to grab, especially going into the World Cup qualifiers in a few weeks' time. So Daryl Dike, he needs a big game. Will the finals be that big game? Let's hope so. And the folks cheering for the United States will be hoping so as well. Over on the Mexican team, I think Hector Herrera, he will be the key member for them. He has been the key member. He's one of the most experienced players in that squad, and I think he will be the go-to man again. There are a few youngsters in that team as well that I think they will give a good account of themselves. But I can't see past Hector Herrera. I think that energy, that aggression, that drive kind of reminds me of Fernandinho at Manchester City. That's the kind of vibe he gives off whenever he's on the pitch, and he leaves it all out there. He plays with his heart on his sleeve 100% of the time. We saw that late goal he scored against the Canadian national team, and I know he doesn't come up with goals so often, but he generally gives the team 100% performance, and he generally drives the team on, whether it is through his defensive work, whether it is through his athleticism in midfield. And we usually say it too. The game is won in midfield. And I think if they can't outrun Hector Herrera out of the midfield, then the United States will lose that game. My prediction for that game, let me know what yours are in the comment section, folks. Javar already out the blocks. He said 3-1 in favor of Mexico. I think Mexico they have they haven't had the best of luck against the United States in the past year or so. I think since 2020, the United States have had the upper hand against the Mexican national team, and I think going into this game, the Mexican team will need to stake a claim for themselves. They have basically they're still licking their wounds on the back of that defeat in Nations League final. It's a first tournament, the first Nations League in this side of the world, and they lost it to the United States team. One could say they botched it, but again, it was a remarkable save by the United States goalkeeper to deny Guardado in the final. That would have made it 3-3 for the Mexican national team. Or yeah, I think it would have been 3-3. Yeah, because it was just seconds after the United States scored the penalty through Christian Pulisic. So again, we go into this game with high expectations. It promises to be a crunching encounter. The United States versus Mexico is never a game to sleep on. Is never a boring game. It promises to be enticing. We'll see those crunching tackles. We'll see those aggressive ball movements. We'll see physicality. We'll see athleticism, and at the end of the day, we'll see a Gold Cup winner. Will Mexico extend their do a video about transfers and the upcoming season? Yep, definitely. We'll do that one. I think maybe Wednesday of this week we'll do a video on the transfers so far. I think I'll do a review of the best transfers, the best transfer businesses that have been done so far this season. All right, and we look ahead as well. Also on Wednesday, I think we will try and invite some supporters of other teams to hear what their expectations are going into the new season. Naturally, we're going to have the Manchester United and the Liverpool, maybe Man City. We'll see, but we'll make it happen, folks. The EPL is fastly approaching, and here we have a ton load of English Premier League fans. So I'll definitely make that happen. Still have those giveaways for the 1,000 subscription benchmark. So as soon as I receive those jerseys in hand, we'll be doing the trivias like we usually do. Okay, so again, going back to the Mexico United States game, I think it promises to be an enthralling encounter. Mexican national team, they want to avenge that loss to the United States, and I can't wrong them, because naturally losing to such a bitter rival in the final, you don't want that. You don't want that. Both teams they played each other 71 times. Mexico has more wins with 36. United States, I think they want to close that gap, because with so many Mexicans living in the United States, I know oftentimes it's about bragging rights, and folks they have friends who are from Mexico, they have colleagues who are from Mexico, they have wives, that sort of thing. So it's always bragging rights, and we know the Mexicans they love football more than anything else. All right, so footballing nation Mexico, look out for them in the Gold Cup final. My prediction is Mexico 2, the United States 1. So I expect Mexico to lift the Gold Cup for, what is this, their 12th time? But yeah, I expect them to lift the Gold Cup again. I think the United States, they have the luxury of minimum expectation, because they have a younger squad. It's not their main team and all of that. The Mexican team, because they have a few more players in there that are a little bit more seasoned and a stronger squad than the United States of America, the expectation is higher on them, and they will want to avenge that loss in the Nations League final. Let me know what you guys think. What are your expectations for the game? What are your predictions? Leave it in the comment section as well. As I said, I won't keep you guys too long. We've been on here all day today. We've done 2 lives so far, and we'll keep it here for now. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Miranda Brown here saying from Halftime TV, one love. And folks, I did a video earlier about the live about the Olympics. I kept on saying Aileen Bailey and Veronica Campbell Brown when it was Sharon Simpson and Sharon Simpson and Shelley and Fraser Price. Sorry. So again, stuff like that. If you're in the comment section and you hear me blabbing away and calling the wrong names, please correct me, because sometimes you get caught up in the heat of the moment. You don't even realize, because having watched back that video, I realized what I was saying. So I had to like pin an explanation there, because we want folks to think, okay, I'm coming out here and spreading wrong news. All right. But again, folks, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for being a part of the Halftime family. Who do you have for the Gold Cup final? The United States or Mexico? L3 versus the 52 states of the United States of America. Let us know. Let us know. But I definitely will be tuning into that one, and I hope you guys are tuned in as well, because it promises to be an intriguing encounter. The United States playing at home to Mexico. It's also kind of a build up to the World Cup qualifiers, where a lot of people are expecting them to finish 1-2 in the table as well for the World Cup qualification. For the World Cup qualification. All right. So they're expecting 1-2, Mexico first, United States second. So I'm expecting United States first, Mexico second. We'll see. But it all begins here. Will Mexico avenge that Nations League loss against the United States? We'll find out tomorrow evening as they go up against the United States of America in the Gold Cup final. Thanks again for tuning in, folks. Until next time, Miranda Brown here saying, take care, enjoy what's left of your weekend.